Hello everybody and welcome back to part 6 of my Final Fantasy 1 playthrough on the Pixel Remaster. When we left off last time we'd cleared the Mount Gulag, the Fire Cave, and rescued or restored the Fire Crystal and defeated Maralith, the Fire Fiend. So now that we've done 2 Fiends, we're ready to proceed. This next area we're going to is the Ice Cave. I'm just going to re-go through the equipment on my warrior, just to check if there's anything new I want to equip, but no, Mithril Sword is fine. Immediately get an encounter before we go in, but let's head on into the Cavern of Ice. There's going to be a few new enemies we're looking for in here, as well as a lot of existing enemies that we've already dealt with. The Psycho Demons being one of those enemies we've previously dealt with. There's going to be a lot of healing up as we go through this dungeon, because this is one of the first ones where we are in danger of being wiped over a bunch of significant damage, but nothing too scary. And here's the first new encounter we're looking for in the Cavern of Ice of the Specter. Only one appears with 3 wraiths which we've dealt with a long time ago, but we'll continue suffering from paralyze on direct hits from them, so just be wary of that and try and take them out immediately if you can. But unless your whole party gets paralysed, it should be a relatively simple fight for you, similar to all the past experiences of them. So there's a set of stairs down there, but I'm just showing you down here that there's no way to go, and we get another encounter we're looking for, the White Dragon, which we immediately take out. But they do have ice attacks they can use, which are multi-hitting, similar to the blaze attacks we saw in the last dungeon. 3 Specters, which is nothing new now, so skip over that fight, and we'll proceed this way through. Spectre seems to be the continuous fight that we're getting at the moment, but nothing too fearful. So just follow the route I'm taking, and we're going to look for some more enemies. Keep getting Spectres, which isn't what we're looking for, but there are some more enemies I'd like to encounter sooner rather than later. But otherwise, just follow the route I'm taking, and we'll get through the cave in no time at all. Not one of the longer dungeons compared to the Cavern of Earth and the Cavern of Fire that we've recently gone through. And we don't seem to be finding anything new, we seem to just be getting the same encounters over and over again. So when you see me running back and forth a little bit, it's just try and get some additional encounters. So here's 2 more, the Winter Wolf and the Ice Gigas. So as I mentioned, and we'll probably start seeing it now, they will get some multi-hit attacks. Similar to the Blaze hits that we had in the Fire Cavern. It's the ones the Wolf cast aren't too strong, but there will be some other enemies in this area that will do a lot more damage upon casting it. So just try and make sure you're topped up, because an ambush where they could end up getting 6 or so attacks in a row will do a lot of damage. So in this room there's 2 chests, and unsurprisingly in the chest there's an enemy, but it's not an ice elemental this time. We're fighting dark wizards. And this is one of the cases where I definitely would like the Black Mage to take them all out in one hit, because as you can see there, they've got stun, which will paralyze you, and they can also cast magic, which multi-hits the party and does a lot of damage. We all took 100 there. So, yeah, as I mentioned before, in this dungeon, make sure you keep your health topped up, because these enemies can take you out instantaneously with an ambush if you're middling health or low health. And the other chest, we get the Flame Sword, which is great to have, because obviously we're fighting a lot of ice-type enemies, so it will do effective damage against them all. So we're going to immediately put that onto the warrior now. And then making sure that we have spell slots readily available on the Black Mage so that we can cast fire spells anytime we need. And the White Mage can always heal us up as and when needed. So now you just want to step on one of the ice cracks and we'll fall down the floor. And immediately into a room with a monster that we'll take on. So after that lengthy encounter, which again I'd advise the Black Mage to do most of the work, we're going to head out onto this floor. Similar to the Fire Cavern, there's tiles we'll walk on that deal damage to us, and we're going to keep encountering enemies as we open chests. But we'll get some good items slowly throughout doing this cave. And as mentioned, you always want to keep yourself topped up, because one random encounter can be a definite death sentence down here. So this time we're going to want to go south and to the right. Just continuously get encounters that we don't need. Go all the way south and we're going to find a room with some chests in. But yeah, as you can see there, my health is quite low from fighting the White Dragons, because those multi-hit attacks can do a lot of damage, as can the physical attacks. But in here we're going to get 6 chests with a lot of gil from the end of it. Some monster encounters, never get old. 7 Winter Wolves can be quite the challenge, especially if they all decide to cast Ice Storm. Because between 7 of them, that's probably about 150 damage or so your whole party will take. But again, nothing too concerning, and especially if you've stocked up on items like I did, you've got the resources to keep going. So, Remorazz, that's another enemy that we're looking for here. Just a buffer version of the centipede we previously dealt with. Enough direct hits on it, especially from the warrior and the monk, will take it out as is usual. But one that can still hit quite hard back and poison you, as you probably expect from the design of the enemy it is. So this time we're going to go right, and you can see the stairs over there that we're going to be heading towards. There's still a couple of enemies I'm looking for, but I don't believe they spawn on this floor, or I believe it's on the next floor up, which is the one we're on now. So immediately into 3 Specters, which is not it, but there's a chest in this first room. And as you can see, there's a set of 3 chests in the middle and 1 chest directly south of where we are, but there's only one way to go to it with a set door. So let's go and grab that. So heading on in, and we get 10,000 gil. We're definitely going to be sorted for gil after we complete this dungeon. Especially of all the encounters that we're doing as well, because they all give you money. But in here there's 3 chests. And as you can probably see, there's a crack in the ice. Make sure you do not fall into that. We're going to end up using that later. But make sure you don't fall in it before you end up grabbing the chests. Just looking for another encounter but didn't get it, so we'll jump down the ice crack now. And it takes you exactly to where we were earlier. But this time we can actually access the crystal, as opposed to it being surrounded by cracks we couldn't get to. So just do a small quick save before you do the encounter, but nothing you really should have a worry about, and you encounter the Evil Eye, which is kind of like a joke enemy. Not to say that it can't be dangerous, but as long as you take it out in the first round of combat, you should have nothing to worry about. The longer the fight drags on, the more likely it is to cast kill and stone spells, which can become a right nuisance, but it's got no resistances, so just wailing on it physically will take it out pretty quickly. And now we get access to the Levy Stone, which is a key item that we would have been asked to go and get later on, but considering we were in the area, might as well come and pick it up now, especially considering this dungeon isn't too difficult, and then just go through any crack in the ice and we'll fall down to where we were earlier, if you remember, with the monster encounter to do again. So from here we're just going to want to head south and go to the stairs up that we went through earlier, because rather than dropping down again, we're just going to proceed up and around. So dark wizards can definitely be a problem. As you can see, I lost 2 of my party there because they have attacks that can inflict instant death, and just the multi-hit spells can do a right number on you. So we're going to be going through a lot of spell slots from my white mage, which is why those ethers we brought earlier come in great handy, because they restore a spell slot for every single tier in one go. It's not, you don't select which one, they all come, you get 1 back of each. So let's head back on upstairs, get through the multitude of encounters we get every 10 or so steps, and proceed on our way around. So I'm going to show you where the stairs are, but there's still 2 enemies that we're looking for. And these enemies, I believe, can spawn on this floor, but are also more likely to spawn on the floor below. So these are the stairs that we're going to be going up once we've found all of the enemy encounters that we're currently looking for. But before I head up there, I'm going to be looking for the remaining encounters that I need for the bestiary. So I'll catch you back here shortly. So I've been running around on this floor for quite a while, and there's the first one that we're looking for, the Mindflayer. So stronger than the Psychodemon, hit a bit harder and can do and can take a lot more damage, and have instant death attacks they can use on you, so be careful of that. But you should be able to take them out in 1 to 2 hits each from the warrior and the monk, and if you need to, just cast black mage spells and that should take them out almost instantaneously. But that's the first one that we're looking for, and I believe the Mindflayer might be the only remaining thing that I was looking for in this, so let's proceed on back upwards. Nothing new there, but cockatrices doing what they do and inflicting stone on a member of the party, so let's heal that straight off. And let's go back up the stairs now. So heading on up, and we're back outside the cave. And we're completed with the ice cave, so before I head on back to the next city, I'm just going to have a quick heal on up so everybody's back at full strength and don't have to worry about spell slots and that, because while we were looking for that enemy, we went through a lot of things again on the white mage. So I'm going to row back and I'll show you the route again. I said I'll show you the route again just because it's quite easy to get lost with all these up and down sections with the rivers, but it's a relatively simple route. And hopefully it wasn't too long ago that you came through here. But we don't need the flame sword on anymore necessarily, but the coral sword is not going to be worth it as an improvement because the damage increase against these enemies isn't worth the amount of damage we're already doing, so we'll just chuck the mithril sword back on. So follow the way all the way around, and we're going to be heading back to our boat, which is docked at the entrance of the river on our left, if you can remember when we back last time that we were there. And of course we get an encounter just before. So here we are, straight back on the boat. We're going to head all the way down and get a complete myriad of encounters as we always do. So we want to head south, and then we want to head south and to the left, and there's going to be another river that we're going to enter. So we can enter from this river here, but I've realised that the easier place to go through and a little bit of a shortcut is to use this river over here, or the mouth here, and then as soon as you go in, we just want to row left and immediately hit the desert location. So heading on into the desert, we're going to get a cool cutscene. So we whip out the levy stone, some flashing happens, and then all of a sudden, what may or may not be an earthquake, I don't know, we get an airship. And now our ability to travel around is massively improved. And then the classic fist bump to show that we've done something correctly, and yep, we've obtained an airship. So using this, we're going to be able to backtrack, move around, do anything we need to at quite the pace now. We can hit any continent that's left in the game. We can go and visit any areas if there's any spell slots or items we need to pick up. We don't have to worry about spending the higher amount of money in the end, but directly or after getting it, we're going to head back north and go into Crescent Lake City just to heal up because it's been a little while since the last time we did this. And I am a stickler for being at full health as much as possible, given that, how ambushes and that work in this game, especially with some of the enemies we can encounter. So let's have a quick look at the bestiary. We're up to 75 now. We've done all the way up to Evil Eye. So hopefully yours should match, and I should have listed them all in the description of each video. And then as for chests, every area we've been to, with the exception of the Chaos Shrine, should have them maxed out, because the Chaos Shrine will get a bunch more chests later. So gonna head back into the item shop and just restock up on everything, because the amount of money we've obtained from doing the last couple of dungeons leaves us without any worries there. So if you don't have to do the same, but I just like carrying around 99 of everything at this point just to make sure that there's any problems that arise, I can immediately cover it. Although the remedies was probably a mistake with how much they cost. Should have kept some overflow cash, but no expenses we're going to be looking to pay for immediately right now. So let's head back on into the airship, and we're going to want to head directly south so that we come up to the other continent that's north of just where we were, and head on over. So this is where we're going to end up landing, but just to show you where we're roughly going to be heading for is south of this location, but there's nowhere else we're allowed to land because all these areas prevent you. So the area down here on the bottom is where we're going to finish, and we're going to loop all the way around. There's going to be a lot of walking to do and some new encounters, and the Weretiger being the first of those. Just an improved version of the lesser tiger and Sabertooth that we previously fought, but a couple of hits should take them out with no issue at all. So just head up and around all the way. There's only really one way we can go at the moment. And then we're going to encounter the sandworm, which I didn't think we'd find here. I thought we'd find that in the desert area, but just one hit onto it should take it out. Nothing too complex. It's like the lava worm, but doesn't have any. Has a slightly more HP and attack, but nothing too concerning. He'll Gigas, an enemy we fought before. So there's a couple of enemies we're looking for in this desert patch anyway, or any desert patch can technically trigger the encounters, or a lot of them spawn in any desert patch. So the Basilisk is one of them. These are improved versions, as you can imagine, of the lizard. And they're going to be slightly strong enough to take more than one hit from each of the warrior and the monk. But they don't hit too hard physically, it's just the fact they can cast stone on you, as you saw there with their gaze attack. So thankfully we've got numerous golden needles, so that any time that happens we can immediately get rid of it. So there's two more enemies I think we're looking for in the sand area that technically have a very similar name. So the desert Baretta is one of them, and the other one we're going to be looking for is the enemy called the Baretta. But these are very physically resistant. You see there, even our multi-hit combos are only doing about 80 damage unless the warrior gets a crit. Magic is probably the best way to take these out, and they do hit quite hard back, about 100 damage each, but enough physical attacks and you will take them out over a couple of turns, because their HP pool isn't overly high, and the monk and the warrior should be doing a lot of multi-hits against these enemies, especially with the state they should be in. But just keep yourself topped up again. But there's one more enemy that we're looking for in this location, and hopefully it shouldn't take me too long to find it. There it is, the Baretta. So similar to the desert Baretta, hits very hard, but is still very physically bulky, a little bit more physically bulky than the last one, but they're less likely to come in multiple numbers if memory serves, so it should go down again. Magic if you need to, or some physical hits. And there's one more I think we're looking for, because we found the sandworm earlier, and the Allosaurus is it. So just a little T-Rex monster, but your physical attack should do enough damage to take it out. I think he's got about 500 HP, so typically survive one hit, but should survive two. And there's another enemy that we can encounter here, but I don't think it's specific only to the desert, which is the Wyvern. And there's another version of this that we're going to be looking for as well, called the Wyrm, but that spawns in a separate location. Should be around in the trees. Nothing again too significant. These enemies will have about 300 HP each, so just wailing on them should push you through, and even if you take damage, it's only be about 50 to 100 damage each. As long as you're keeping yourself healed up between encounters, you're fine. So just heading back all the way to the airship, just in case I want to go back and heal. But here is the worms we were looking for, and as you can see, they're just a reskin of the Wyvern. Just one's blue and one's orange in colour. But these are slightly less health than the wyverns that we've just taken out, but still hit incredibly hard. You're only really in danger if they constantly focus down one party member, which you can see there with the monk, and also because the monk's defenses are a lot lower. But as long as everything in the game targets the warrior, you're kind of fine at this point. There's nothing too much to worry about. But we'll just check the bestiary, and we're now up to 83. And as you can see there, we've got the Wyvern, the Wyrm, the Desert Baretta, the regular Baretta, the Basilisk, the Allosaurus, the Weretiger, and the Sandworm. So we're getting through quite well at this point. Nothing too much to worry about. Hopefully we should end up encountering them all. But there is one that's definitely missing that I believe I've mentioned earlier, which is the Sabertooth, which is at number 77. I thought we had already fought that at some point earlier in the game, but I don't think we have. So it should be an enemy that we fight around here in these trees. So we'll do a little bit of hunting for that now. And speak of the devil, and it shall appear. So here it is. The things it's brought with it. Lesser tigers we fought a lot of times, and the Weretiger we fought earlier. It's just an improved version of the lesser tiger, but a solid hit from the monk or the warrior you saw should take it down. None of the fights in these areas should pose too much of a challenge unless there's like 7 or 8 of them and you get ambushed, because you can do some encounters that are that big, which is where the problem becomes. So just going to fly all the way back and heal up, and then we'll get ready to proceed on further. So we're going to land, and I will catch you again after I've healed up back outside. So now that we've healed up, we're just going to head on back to where we just came from. If you can remember where we landed, very north of the map, in the centre. Then we're going to loop all the way around to the castle you may have just glimpsed there. And we're working our way towards class progression so that our heroes turn into the evolved versions of the classes that they are. But I'll leave those names till later when we actually do it. But I imagine a lot of you can probably guess what they're going to be or have played this before. So nothing new we're overly looking for at the moment, so just proceeding on our way. And I always end up getting lost in this area because I forget that you do need to walk across the water on the left. So I end up coming down here being like, oh yeah, which way am I meant to go? And then remembering that, yeah, I need to go up and to the left. So ignoring this encounter, we want to head left, and we can get a little row quickly across the water there and head down and into the castle. Though of course we get an encounter just outside. So before heading in, just make sure you're healed up, because there will be some encounters in here that we're going to be doing. But don't get too worried about being eliminated or equipping a bunch of specific items in order to get through. There shouldn't be any problems of that magnitude that you'll suffer with until maybe at the end. But I'm going to tent up anyway just to make sure everybody's all good, which did waste my spell slots doing that with the healing before, but we'll get the spell slots back from resting. And then now we can head on into the Citadel of Trials. Speak to the sage here, who mentions that we have the crown that we got ages ago, and that allows us to partake with the trials. So in order to do that, because there's nothing obvious on the screen, just head to the top left through this door and walk into the chair or the throne. It will teleport us up to the next floor. So as you can see, there's a lot of weird shaped machines. These are all teleporters, and they'll take you through to a different room. A lot of the times there's only one you can go through, as is the current way, but occasionally there'll be rooms with 2, so just make sure you take the same ones that I do. So for this room we want to go for the bottom of the 2, and that will take us up and over to here. There's only one, go directly through, and again we get our first encounter that we're looking for something. King Mummy, which is a much tougher version of the Mummy, because the Mummy was something we fought way earlier on. Has about 350 HP, I believe, but as we saw there, the monk just took it out in one go. They're more physically resistant than magical, so if you're ever struggling or want these taken out quickly, just do a fire spell or a dia spell from the white mage. But otherwise we should still be able to brute force our way through at the moment. So in here we want to take the bottom teleporter, and that will take us into this long stretch, and we just want to follow the one route which will take us to a teleporter. But of course I get an encounter before, and it's another one of the enemies we're looking for, the Rakshasa, or however you say this. Basically similar to the werebears that we previously encountered, but they can cast fire and fire to hit the party. Does about the same amount of damage as the wolves we've recently been encountering that cast Ice Storm and whatnot, and they can also cast slow, as you saw there, which is incredibly annoying, because otherwise I could take them all down in one hit from the from the monk and the warrior, and sleep as well. But thankfully we wake up pretty quickly. They don't have too much health. I think it's about 90 to 100, but they can be very annoying with the amount of stats, effects, and spells they can throw out. So just keep on top of it and try and take them all out in one go. Again, black mage spells will do wonders if so. So through the next teleporter, we end up in this small square room where we want to take the closest teleporter, the one on the right. And then we'll end up in this area where there's a lot more ways to go. So after that encounter, there's a room in here with a chest, so I'm going to quickly heal up and then we'll grab the next chest from this area. And it's a potion, so nothing we really need, but we need to get all the chests anyway. And there's a teleporter directly below, but that's not the one we want to go to yet. And we found another enemy we're looking for, the Minotaur Zombie. So it's been a little while since we fought the Minotaurs, but these are undead versions, so the Dia spell can work really well here if you need it. But otherwise, just physical attacks will get you through the encounter. As you can see there, they were quite simple. And we got some nice level ups from that. The party is doing quite well. We're up to 36, so we're getting close to that episode. Required 50. So there's 2 more teleporters down here, and if you follow the route all the way along, I believe there's another teleporter at the end. However, we don't want any of these right now because there's still some enemies that we're looking to get. And by chance we find the one we're after, the Dragon Zombie. So similar to the previous dragons, a lot of health, decent physical attack, and can do a lot of unique attacks and spells, but again, brute force is our best way to proceed. So there's now 1 more enemy that we're left looking for. And hopefully it shouldn't take too long to find it. And there we go, the Medusa. I'm surprised it took us this long to find this, because it can spawn in quite a few areas in the section we're in. These have the ability to turn you to stone, as you could probably expect, but they'll go down to 1 to 2 physical hits. With that, we're done, so we can take the first teleporter here. It's a bit harder to describe as to exactly which one it is. But this takes us to the stairs, which takes us up to the 3rd floor. And we've got 1 way we can proceed at the moment, which takes us directly into a monster, which gives us the nightmares. I'm not sure if we have fought these before, so in the off chance I haven't, I'm including this fight in. They are annoying because they can do snort, which inflict darkness on your party, which can obviously make you miss. But they don't hit too hard, and I believe they have some spells they can cast as well. So in the chest in this room we get a healing staff, which it's something I can equip, but it's better off being used as a item during battle because it casts heal. Horned Devils are definitely something we've seen before, but we took a lot of damage from that fight because they decided to focus down the monk, as seems to be a lot of the cases of these engagements, even though the warrior should be getting hit a lot more. And a nice set of equipment from those chests, including 1 ruby armlet, which is definitely something we're going to want to have equipped. But I'm not too sure who to give it to. I think at this point in the game it's probably going to go on the monk, because although he's doing okay, he's starting to take a lot of damage as we go through and he gets targeted. So some more fights we don't mind, but at the very bottom of this area there's 4 chests, and we get to encounter the clay golems, which is another enemy that we're looking for. These can cast haste on themselves, as we're seeing now, and can hit quite hard physically. Luckily they aren't always smart and sometimes cast haste on the same character. So as long as we take these out, they should be fine. A multi-hit spell from the Black Mage is a good attempt at getting rid of them, but otherwise physical hits will do the job as per usual. As you can see there, a multi-hit from one of them did 150 plus to the Black Mage, so if they get targeted and they've got haste on them, they can do a good amount of damage there. And some nice money. So just time to heal up the White Mage and Black Mage there. I really wish our Black Mage HP increases were better. So this is the item that we came here for, all the way at the end, the Rat's Tail, and we're going to have 1 more monster to fight in front of the throne, and then we can step onto the throne and get out of here. So there's some zombie dragons. If you weren't able to find any earlier, you can get a fixed encounter at the end. And there we go, we've completed the Citadel of Trials. And the sage that we met as we came in is completely missing. So now that we've got the Rat's Tail, I will meet you back at the airship. I seem to have cut off a bit early there. So now we're going to fly to a new area, which are these small islands over here, and we're going to meet some dragons, and specifically the king of the dragons, if you know who that is. But first things first, we're going to explore all the other holes and open the remaining chests and whatnot. Thankfully there's no real encounters in this area other than the few that we might get topside as we walk into each of the tunnels. But yeah, as you can see there, the dragon caves, there's 13 chests in total we're looking for, but this list of treasures constitutes every tunnel that we can go into, so we won't completely finish it in this one run. There's some other islands we're going to have to fly to and go in, and some of them don't even have any chests in, they're just mini dragons you can go and speak to. So I'm just going to go from tunnel to tunnel now until we get to the final one where we speak to the King of Dragons. So I will let you enjoy the fabulous music that is Final Fantasy 1 while I explore these areas, and I will catch you back again shortly. So I hope you were able to follow that okay. It was just going from tunnel to tunnel and getting the chests and speaking to all the NPCs just because I like showing off the dialogue that there is. But yeah, if we have a look at the chests now, as you can see, the Dragon Caves is 13 of 13, so we've found all of the chests in this area. So now we're going to head on to the final location, which is this one over here. Inside we go. And there's a very long way to run, but thankfully this area has had no encounters, otherwise this would have eaten up a lot of my time. So straight down into the staircase, into floor 2, and there's a long way up, straight that we're going to run. There's 2 dragons we can speak to, and lots of crosses, or if you look specifically, you'll notice that they're all swords, because obviously Bahamut, in a lot of games, has swords as a representation. So the rat's tail we managed to get shows that we're brave and courageous, so he'll reward us. And the reward we get is a class up on all of our characters. This will make their design on the overworld change as well as in the menu. As you can see, we all now look a little bit different. I will say I definitely prefer the original design of the warrior and the black mage as opposed to these updated ones, but there you go. We're now a knight, a master, a white wizard, and a black wizard. What this has done is just given us some like minor stat increases, and for the white mage and black mage specifically, it gives them the ability to cast 8th tier spells, maybe 7th tier spells as well. I think it is both of them. So now we can head up and out, and then there was another tunnel on this island that we're going to drop into as well and speak to the NPCs in here, but we know there's no chests. Just because, as I said before, I like showing off the dialogue. So now that we've done in here and we've done the class ups, I think that just about wraps everything up for this episode. There's no major gear that we have ready to use. I'll heal up even though I did a sleeping bag before we went in the first one. It's just losing track of how much health and that I all had. But I hope you're enjoying, and this episode was easy to follow. We did quite a lot and unlocked quite a lot of things, got a lot of money, and items. But without that, I will bid you all adieu and catch you again in the next part, hopefully soon. Thanks, everybody. Bye.